Alright, here we go with my look at G.I. Joe Pursuit of Cobra Snake Eyes. This is the desert battle version of Snake Eyes. Before we move on here, let's just kind of take a look at his little character bio here. There's his little file card there. It says Snake Eyes, names classified, serial number classified, grade classified, mission equipment, hand-forged steel heirloom katana sword. And it says down here, Snake Eyes is the G.I. Joe team's ninja commando. He and his wolf Timber cross the sand. He encounters his enemy Storm Shadow. The Cobra Ninja is heavily armed, but so is Snake Eyes, with an electromagnetic railgun and PDV-2 personal defense variant weapons. Lowering his solar modulating visor, he prepares for battle. Again, I've mentioned this before, I'm not too big on these file cards. I feel that they basically just talk about the weapons and, you know, kind of what's going on in this like little diorama here, you know. Snake Eyes encounters Storm Shadow, and, you know, he lowers his visor. It's not much of a file card, really. It's more just a sort of a narrative description, really. But anyways, enough about that. Let's kind of move in here and look at the figure himself. As you can see there, he's pretty well detailed. He's basically got the all-black kind of color scheme there. And I do have to question, though, if this is the desert battle version of Snake Eyes, why is he wearing a full-on black, like SWAT team outfit almost? Like, wouldn't that be a little too hot for a desert environment? Anyways, realism be damned. There he is there. He's got his sort of classic, you know, ninja visor, or whatever you want to call it. I do kind of like the detail on his vest there. It looks pretty cool. He's got a little, you know, a lot of little pouches and pockets and things on it. They do have some little, like, holes here or hoops or whatever it is, so you can attach his little Uzis here, have them hang off. It does have some of those little, like, rubber, like, straps that have some more little hooks and things in them there. It's got some knee pads. There's his feet with the sort of typical character stand with the name painted on. It says Snake Eyes and the G.I. Joe emblem or logo engraved on there. And let's just kind of rotate him around here and kind of look at him from the back side here. Pretty much the same. You can see there, in place of a backpack, he's got the little sheath or holster for his little katana. And that's kind of cool. There's his little Uzis there. And just the back of his legs and his boots. And he does come with his little friend here, Timber, the little wolf dog, or wolf. I don't know. I wish they kind of would have made his head tilted up a little bit more. He kind of looks like he's staring down at the ground there. It's pretty well detailed. I like the detail on it. And it does have a little bit of a play feature here in that I guess if you wiggle the tail here, let's see if I can hold on to that. If you wiggle the tail there, it kind of makes his head go up and down or bob up and down. So yeah, that's kind of a cool little touch. I do wish that instead of doing that, they would have maybe just put his head on a ball joint so you can like kind of twist it and have him look up or down or kind of move his head side to side. I think that would have been a little better. I'd rather have had that than just, you know, you can push his tail and he wiggles his head up and down. He does, I don't know, he looks okay, but in some ways he kind of looks a little goofy looking there too. I don't know, maybe it's just mine. Let's talk about his weapons here. Obviously here he's got his little katana sword or ninja sword. It's pretty cool, I like it. It's just kind of black there with the little, you know, silver painted plastic it looks like. And this does go in here to his little sheath fairly easily. It does have a little bit of a curve to it, so you just got to match the curve of the sheath. And it stores in there pretty securely, like so. And then his other weapons that he came with was his little, I guess this is supposed to be his railgun here, but it looks more like a regular, just kind of assault rifle there. So yeah, it's pretty cool looking. And then his other weapons that he's got here, like I said, are his Uzis that do unhook, like so. Let's just kind of move his arm out of the way. And there's one there. Let's kind of just go out a little bit there. So yeah, there's his little Uzi there, and you can see it's got the little hook there to clip onto his little hoop on his little end of his vest there. And these are basically identical, so he's got two of these that are identical, and you could put one in either hand. He does hold these fairly securely, I believe. Just got to kind of slide it in there. And there you go. Now he's got his Uzi, and he's ready to rock and roll with his Uzi. So yeah, pretty decent Snake Eyes figure. In a lot of ways, he's kind of typical too. I don't know. Snake Eyes is one of those things you can't really change him too much. You know, if you move him away from the kind of, you know, silent black masked ninja character, he kind of loses his identity in a way. So there's not a whole lot that they can really change figure to figure or from the different versions of this guy. I mean, he looks almost like what you would find with the 25th anniversary figures. But, you know, it's pretty much Snake Eyes, so it's kind of what you see is what you get. Doesn't have the most amount of weapons and accessories, but I actually think that's kind of a good thing. I've kind of ranted about some of the other Pursuit of Cobra figures having a little too many accessories and no real way to store them, or like they don't have a backpack. I think this is one of the better figures in that regard, in that they gave him sort of a minimal amount of weapons that make more sense, and he can actually store all of them, you know, on his person. So he can put the two Uzis here on his little hooks, or the hoops there, or rings, or whatever it is, and he could store those. He could store his katana away, and you can make him hold his rifle. So I think they got some points there for me, at least, as far as, you know, they didn't overload him with weapons or give him anything really goofy and weird. I mean, you could argue the sword's weird and goofy. That wouldn't make sense in a, you know, modern battlefield, but hey, it's Snake Eyes. That's, you know, one of his defining characteristics. If you got rid of that, he really kind of ceases to be Snake Eyes in a sense. One thing on mine was this little visor here. It does supposed to like rotate up so you can like reveal his eyes. And when I first got this guy, it just didn't want to go all the way down. And I don't know if this thing's supposed to really rotate, but mine is just like it's glued into place almost. And I had to kind of just keep bending it so that eventually it would actually cover up his eyes. But I don't know. I think this thing should have just maybe been molded onto to the head instead of like glued on here, these little holes here. Because, I mean, it looks like it wants to rotate like a little visor like you see on some of the other G.I. Joe figures, but it doesn't really rotate, and it looks like this plastic is just going to break off if you keep forcing it. So yeah, that's I wish they would have just made that a regular head sculpt or just a solid one-piece head. I really don't need to see his eyes. I think it would have just been better if it was a solid piece there. Articulation on this guy is pretty much the typical G.I. Joe level of articulation, but I'll run through it again anyways. The head here is like on a ball joint, so it can move around, rotate, and look up and down. The shoulders here can go around 360, bend up and down at the shoulders, you can rotate at the elbows, bend at the elbows, wrists can rotate, the torso can kind of bend up and down and twist around. You don't get too much movement when you have this little vest on. The vest is removable, but I'm not going to take it off here in this review. It's a little awkward to get on and off. The legs here are kind of like ball jointed at the hips so they can swing and pivot around. It is a little restricted though because of these little like straps that he has here, and I'm not sure if you can actually remove those or not. The knees are double jointed, so those can bend pretty well, and the feet and ankles can rotate and bend up and down like that. So yeah, that's pretty much, you know, the range of motion on this guy. It's standard sort of G.I. Joe fare. And the little dog doesn't really have any articulation, or the wolf actually doesn't have any articulation beyond what we already looked at with the little head moving up and down. So all in all, I'd say it's a pretty decent figure. It's Snake Eyes, so again, you're kind of, what you're seeing is what you're getting. He's, you know, the black clad sort of ninja dude with a sword. You know, not too much different than some of the other versions that they've done of him throughout the years. So if you're expecting something different, you're really not going to get it really with this figure. But it's still a cool figure nonetheless. I think it's one of the better Pursuit of Cobra figures. So, you know, if you want to, go out and get this guy. I think it's worth picking up. Anyways, that's my review of G.I. Joe Pursuit of Cobra Snake Eyes.